paint history. Hi, welcome to Love and Painting, episode 2. Today what I want to talk to you about is being impulsive and living in the moment and letting art just happen and not trying to force it. So this painting that we're doing the time-lapse on, this fire and ice painting, took me a year and a half, and I was working full-time while doing it. So it wasn't an easy ordeal to find the time to do it, but every once in a while I'd get a good day where I could do it. And I had no idea what the painting was going to be. I just let it happen naturally. I knew I was trying to do an epic story, but I didn't know what that story was going to be. So I was reading Lord of the Rings and some Norse mythology and other things while making the painting, and that influenced it. But it's not most of the time I have a preconceived idea of what I'm gonna make beforehand, which in this instance I did not. And I think it actually turned out better due to that. So that's something I've been trying to do, is be more spontaneous in the moment. And it also keeps me more excited about making the artwork, is not knowing what I'm doing ahead of time. Like if I have something already planned out and I'm planning to work on it for a year, I'm just gonna be bored. Sprout, I will play with you. Alright, to understand the fire and ice painting, what you first need to understand is what my influences for this painting were and how I came up with it. The premise for this painting was, if I was like a philosopher back in the day, like the 1800s or something, and I didn't know what the universe looked like, what would I think it looked like? And so obviously I can't not think of things I'm familiar with, like the pillars of creation and other things like that. But what I did was I thought of all of the basic elements in the world, like your fire, ice, your smoke, mirrors, anything that has a ebb and flow to it. So to start that painting off, what I did was I drew pictures of dirt and of smoke, of fire, water flowing, all those type of things, mirrors refracting off of each other, and then I just combined that all into one piece of art, and I thought it turned out incredibly. So I felt like I had unlocked something in my mind, like how Van Gogh saw the world, where he could see all the ebb and flow of the sky and the waves, and I noticed that everything seems to have that same type of formula. Actually, I was reading about it the other day, that's actually one of the famous 7 formulas that mathematicians haven't unlocked yet, is what is the formula for the way that clouds and stuff and water move. Because if they knew that, then they could better predict the weather and other stuff like that. So with thinking about that, I had been thinking of that kind of as the Fibonacci sequence or something, where I don't know if you can see that, where it creates an infinity loop type thing, or this symbol is really interesting to me, the 3 triangles becoming one and like becoming an infinity loop. So this is a sketch I had actually written for this painting because I had been working on it for an album cover design, and this is what I thought the album cover would look like. It's supposed to be like this idea of the secular versus the non-secular, and like the way the earth flows and other things like that. And so there's like geometry and then there's like circular, so one is like square and one is smooth, and how there's kind of like a yin yang to everything. So that was because I had envisioned that could be like an album cover, because I came up with a whole album worth of songs that I talked about last episode. So which was really interesting because I did that sketch, and then about 6 months later I came up with that sketch in June. And then later I ended up going to a Tool concert, and it was really interesting because he talked about the same type of stuff. Like he was talking about the formula of the earth and sacred geometry and all this weird stuff that he's into. And I was like, that's actually really similar to what I was going on when I was painting this painting. So that's something that I'm always trying to capture in my artwork. I think my guitar songs often end up sounding like that, where they're like a rhythmic meditation more than a song. So this song is about time. I was reading a book by Stephen Hawking about time, and how if there are 2 points in outer space, you need 2 fixed points to measure something. So if the galaxy is always expanding, can you really measure anything? And that made me think about time, and like, is time never ending, and like all these philosophical questions that I was like, really, I thought were interesting. So this song is Time is Fluid. Time is fluid and the faucet is still flowing. Days and minutes, hours pass, and nothing ever seems to last. Facet of my mind, or aspect of our time, there are many sides to everything. Can you see the 5th dimension? It's funny that you mention it's relative to time. Reaching out across the metaphysical, I need to find the distraction. Foundation of my mind speaks frequently with other time, searching for patterns and actions that cause order. Often I watch the way the water flows, so I can see the waves in sequence. Abstraction suits me just fine. Time's a construct of the human mind, a moment momentary lapse, and a faucet is still flowing. Days and minutes, hours pass, and nothing ever seems to last. When I die, I will give my money, and that way life is kind of funny. Days and minutes, hours pass, and nothing ever seems to last. Time's an endless river, a dear is rewind, sauntering through the giant's land, and wrestling with your virtue. The old and the aging, thirsting for more time. The young and the restless, rushing off to war.